What is personal data? Is it a valuable asset? The explosion of technology and globalization have changed the way personal data is collected, processed, and accessed. Personal data has become an important issue closely related to the trust of the customer to an individual or organization that has their personal data. In complex commercial dealings, are you confident that your personal data is safe? Personal data needs protection. The government takes this matter seriously when an act known as the Personal Data Protection Act 2010, Act 709, was enacted with a primary function to regulate individuals or organizations that process personal data in the context of commercial transactions. This act applies to any person or organization that processes personal data for commercial transactions, including those who control and authorize the processing of personal data for commercial transactions. With the implementation of this act, the country will see improvement in the operating landscape of personal data management. The Personal Data Protection Department of Malaysia, DPDP, through the Malaysian Personal Data Protection Commissioner, enforces the Act 709 based on these major roles. To protect personal data of individuals from abuse through the 7 Personal Data Protection Principles. To ensure compliance of the data user to the Personal Data Protection Law so that the rights of Malaysians are always protected. To enforce the provisions of Act 709 to prevent the misuse of personal data. To place Malaysia as the center of communication and multimedia, as well as electronic commerce, that is able to assure the protection of personal data in accordance with international standards. To maintain an effective and orderly physical and electronic process for data user registry, data user forum, and code of practice. To conduct research and development related to personal data protection. To document and publish research and reference materials pertaining to personal data protection. To plan, implement, and coordinate activities related to personal data protection in Malaysia. And to establish a network of cooperation with agencies from within and outside of the country regarding personal data protection. In line with international requirements, DPDP sets clear objectives in improving the confidence of various parties to trade in commercial environment based on the 7 Personal Data Protection Principles, as well as to prevent the misuse of personal data in order to maintain the integrity and prosperity of e-trade and e-commerce business networks in Malaysia. Personal data must be securely managed with utmost integrity and not misused. Malaysia, through the Personal Data Protection Commissioner, is committed to take all the steps necessary to protect personal data and hence driving Malaysia towards a world-class center of communication and multimedia as well as electronic commerce. Personal data is a valuable commodity that must be protected.